Good morning and welcome to Madman in the Morning. I'm your host, Frank the Madman Browning. Guys, no podcast this week due to some weather conditions. We're also going to get prepared for next week. Our Blowout College Recap podcast is coming to you next week. Make sure you get over to the Madman on Facebook, follow our page, like us on Facebook. Tune in next week for our college recap. The only thing we're waiting for now is the national championship game. Georgia and Alabama going to get it on Monday night. Stay tuned for that. Guys, I've got a very special guest on the show next week. They'll be with us on the show and our podcast. Looking forward to that. So let's talk a little NFL this week. Wild card weekend. Guys, the Chiefs, what an up and down season. They're hosting the wild card game. Tennessee comes to town. Kansas City and Tennessee get it on this weekend. Kansas City is minus 8.5 and 44. That ought to be a good one. I like Tennessee in this game. Could be a close game. Kansas City wins it late, but I like Tennessee in the points. Guys, Atlanta and the Rams. Atlanta traveling out west to play the Rams. What a turnaround the Rams have had this season after last year. Getting the number 3 seed in the NFC. Good season. Jared Goff's lit it up. Matt Ryan playing good ball late in the season. The Rams are favored by 6.5, totals 49.5. Guys, I like Atlanta just because of the experience being in the playoffs. The Rams haven't been there. I think Atlanta wins the game outright as my dog of the week. My DOGG, Atlanta Falcons, beat the Rams, taking the 6.5. Buffalo at Jacksonville. Waited last week to get in, sitting in the locker room on a last-minute play. Cincinnati beats Baltimore. Buffalo gets in the playoffs. It's been a long time since Buffalo's been in the playoffs. I look for Buffalo to keep this game close. Jacksonville is minus 8.5 and 39.5. I like Buffalo to cover the 8.5, and if it's close late, look for Buffalo. They might pull the upset. Stay tuned and watch that game this weekend. Next, Carolina, New Orleans playing for the third time this year. While New Orleans has had probably the best season they've had in quite some time, Carolina is playing good football these last few weeks of the season. This could be a good football game. Tune in and watch it. New Orleans minus 7, 48.5. I like Carolina going to New Orleans with the 7 points. They probably don't win the game, but I think the game comes down to a field goal, so I like Carolina. Minnesota and Philadelphia, both NFC, have byes. They're sitting at home waiting to see who they play. New England and Pittsburgh sitting at home waiting to see who they play. Guys, get ready. Make sure you tune in next week on the podcast. It's going to be our college blowout and recap of the season. And also, we're going to be talking about next week's NFL playoff games. So make sure you tune into that. Get over to the Facebook page, The Madman on Facebook. Follow our page. Like us on Facebook. Guys, don't forget, next week we got a special guest in the studio with us. They're going to be on our show, and they're also going to be on our podcast, and we're going to be talking about all these college games that happened all this year, recapping the season in college football, going over some NFL, talking a little bit about those guys and who we think might win the AFC and the NFC, and who is going to the Super Bowl in the NFL. Guys, make sure you tune in next week, Star 95, 9 o'clock a.m., for Madman in the Morning. I am the Madman, and I am out.